Hello all, I hope everyone is well. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a very interesting SQL video. Let's see what the problem says, then we will try to solve the problem. Okay. So in today's question, it's quite interesting. Okay. Let me explain this question to you, then probably you can try. So the question says basically is like we have been given three columns in a table. This is nothing but work ID, owner ID, and valid form. And what we are trying to fetch here or trying to create here is basically, if you see, there are three work IDs basically in 1, 2, and 3, and for each and every work ID there are some owner IDs available. Excuse me. And there are some valid forms. So there is a column, it's a timestamp. Okay, it's a date time column. Okay, and where they say you can think like from where it is valid, the work is valid. Okay, from when the work is valid. So for work ID 1, if you see, for work ID 1 there are some owner IDs available. So the question here is, it says that select the first date when the work was assigned to the last person. Okay, so select the first date when work was assigned to the last person. So if you see for 1, okay, see here for 1, so 1 is the last person, right? So this is the last person when the work has been assigned, right? So 1 is the last person when the work was assigned to, and so you need to find out the last, first date of this particular group, right? So this is nothing but 8-1. So this will be there in the output. So first date when the work was assigned to the last person. So last person is 1, and the first date would be like this, 8-1-2020. Okay. So for 2 also, if you see 4, like the owner ID 4, okay, like who had been assigned last, right? So if you see for the work ID 2, so the owner ID 4 has got the job at the last, and the first date would be 6-1. So this is 6-1, right? For on a work ID 3, because we don't have any other records, so we get the the date whatever we have in the input table. So this is the question basically. I hope the question is clear to everyone. So now we can jump into the solution and let's see how we can solve it. Okay, so here I have created the data before, uh, so we don't want to waste time. So this is our data basically. So now the how we are going to solve it, right? So how we are going to solve the question. So this is our intention, right? So first of all what we are going to do is select. Okay, so I'm just taking the required columns. I'm just writing down this owner ID. And if you see, this is a valid form column, right? So we are going to take the day of this. So basically, like we're trying to create 1, 2, 3, something like that. So I'm just going to write valid from, as you can say, day. Okay, from this table, right? So if I run this, right, and we'll take valid from also, so that is also needed, right? Yeah. So if I run this, so we get this. So we get the day, right? So we are just trying to extract the day from the valid from column. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Now the next would be, we are trying to create some sort of a row number. So how we are going to think of is, if you see this, we need to create something out of this input data, which basically says, or which basically talks about, or you can think like we can try to create a group. So if you see, this is basically a group. So if I try to find this group, then we can say that, okay, this is the minimum value, right, of this group. So this is the minimum value, minimum of this valid form, right? So we can get this data, right? So we are trying to fetch, like we're trying to create a group. So this will be in one group, maybe this will be in one group, this can be in one group, and this can be one group. So basically when the owner ID changes, then we can say that this will be in a new group or something. So for that we are trying to create some sort of a row number. So what is the syntax for this is nothing but a row number. Okay, I'm just writing it, see how I'm trying to solve it. partition by sorry, partition by work ID comma owner ID, okay, order by uh, order by what, order by this date, okay. So that's why we can say order by this, okay. So we're trying to order it by this day column, okay. So and I'm just giving as rn, okay. uh, yeah, okay. So okay, so we got this. Now if we try to run this, if we try to run this, oh sorry, yeah, so if we try to run this, so we can get some sort of a row number, okay. So in that moment you won't be able to understand like why I have created it. So let me complete the query. So we have created a row number based on this work ID and owner ID. Like for each work ID and for each owner ID, we have tried to create a row number, okay. For one work ID, for the owner ID 2, we have created some sort of a row number, okay. So now the next step would be we will have to, you know, we'll have to differentiate. I mean, we'll have to take the difference between this day platform, sorry, day valid form and row number, okay. So if we try to subtract it, we can somehow say something, we can somehow see that okay, we are able to create a group. So for that what I'm going to do is I'm just writing like I'm trying to, you know, subtract this day of valid form, okay. So day of valid form minus this row number, okay, basically like this, right. So if you try to subtract it, and you can see that it might be in a, you know, this is coming as like not a positive value, it can be a negative value too. So for that reason you can take the absolute, okay. So you can use the absolute function to make it positive, okay, and give a name as difference, okay. So try to run this if I try to run this, so we can say, you can see that, so we have got something here. So if you see, for let's say for work ID 1 and owner ID 1, but just look at the data first, okay, how it is coming. So for work ID 1 and owner ID 1, and in the first date, so we have getting a difference 0. Now if you see for the second, right, for the second also we have got something, right. We have got the one owner ID 2 and difference 1. So the second date, right. And the third date, if you see the third date, sorry, 5th, 6th, and 7th, we have got a difference of 3. If you see the last 8, 9, 10, right, if you see in the 8, 9, 10, so we have got a difference of 4, 4, 4. So whenever it gets changed, so for one, right, for the, I mean, if you say that the first date and after the first date, in the second date, this owner ID gets changed, right. So that's why we are getting a difference, we are getting a different difference, correct. And if you see for third also, that owner ID gets changed, and fourth the owner ID doesn't get changed, so we get a difference, like we get the value of the difference is basically same, right. The value of the difference is basically same. If you see in the 5th, 6th, 7th, the owner ID gets changed from the previous two values, and that's why the difference gets changed. So we had somehow created, so you have understood, right, what I'm trying to say. Whenever the dates get changed, sorry, not the date, whenever the owner ID gets changed in a new date, we are getting a difference of, I mean, we are getting a value of the difference is basically a new value. Now if you see for 1 1, we have got those difference 0, and for 2, whenever we are coming in 2, whenever the owner ID gets changed, so we are getting a new difference, correct. And in 3, whenever this owner ID gets changed, we are getting a new difference, right. From 3 and 4, it's basically same. Whenever it is coming to 5, 5th, that owner ID gets changed right here, so we are getting a new difference. So we had somehow created a value which basically can differentiate between the, between the owner IDs whenever a new date is coming, okay, something like that. So we have somehow created something, like we have somehow created a group. So now we can put this into a city, okay, with city as, and right. So I have put this into a city. Now from here, what we are going to do? So now we are trying to create a row number in the second step. Why row number? Let's see why. So what I'm trying to write is select star from select star from the city as a, and we are trying to create a row number. Why I'm doing this, I'll tell you. Row number over partition by, okay, partition by work ID, okay, order by valid form, and give us name as rn1. Okay, so if I run this now, okay, so if I run this basically, so we will be getting a row number like for the minimum, like whenever the valid form is the minimum, so I'm just taking a row number, right? So it's basically like this value, right? So 1, this value. For this group it is this value, right? For this group it is this value. So I'm just trying to take you know uh, sorry, take the descending one. Okay, that would be interesting. So if I take the descending, so if you see the last, for work ID 1, like in the last value of the valid form, we are getting a row number 1. Okay, so I've taken the descending of the valid form, so this is 1. So if you see for 2, so this, the last value will be getting a row number 1, correct? So now what I'm going to do is select star from, so take this as a subquery as a where take rn1 equals to 1. Okay, so now if I do this, so if I do this, okay, so you'll be getting this. So the last value, I'm just taking the last value or the highest valid form for each and every work ID. Okay, so we got this result, right, till that point. Okay, now will be the next step. So put this into a city. Okay, put that into a city. Okay, so the next step would be, it's pretty simple now. What we are going to do is, let's say select, okay, select from, I'll just write the columns later. So let me write this, select as a, okay, in a join with city as b on. So I'm just trying to join this table with the previous table, like this table, on the basis of a dot work ID equals to b dot work ID and a dot owner ID equals to b dot owner ID. And what am I trying to say is, so if you see, whenever I have taken the row number 1, like the last value, so you're getting the difference, that last difference, right, is 4. Because like if you think about it, like if we run this page, right, what is the reason I have done it? So it's basically, if you see, if I take this group, right, this is the last group, right? So when that, I mean, the work was assigned to the last person, so that's why we are getting, so this is the last person, right? 1, this, because this is the highest value of this valid form, and here the highest value, I mean highest value of this valid form, we are getting the owner ID. So this is the last person who had got the job or who had got the work. So here we are getting the difference as 4. So what I have done is, so I have taken those, created the row number and taking this result, right, in the next step. So if you remember, so if I run this for you, select star from city 1, so we will be getting this data, right, because this is the highest value of valid form. So we'll be getting this one, we'll be getting this one, right? So if I run it for you once again, so if you see, basically you'll be getting the last value. So this is the reason I have created this row number, correct? So now here, so what I'm saying, a dot owner ID equals to b dot owner ID. So I'm just trying to join work ID owner ID with the owner ID, and you know uh, a dot diff, right? So I'm just trying to join this diff also. So we'll be getting that group only. So b dot diff, right? So I'm just taking this. Okay, so now what we need, from here we need, basically, let's say I'm taking b.workId, okay, from here in the b table. B table is nothing but CTE, right? So let's say I'm taking b.workId, and let's take um, b.OwnerId, right? And let's take b.diff, and take b.ValidFrom. Okay, so let's take this and try to see what the value is, right? So if I run that, if you can see, so we get that last group, right? So this is the person where who had been assigned the work at last, right? In the last, this person has been assigned with that work, right? So this person had got the work at the last, and we got the difference. So now it's very simple. Now is basically you need to take the first date of it, right? So that you just take the minimum of valid form for each group. For that reason, take min of, instead of this, take min of, or anything, yeah. So take off min of this as valid from, okay. Instead of this, take group by this 3, right? Okay, not this one, right? So if I take this, so I've taken minimum of valid from, so it just take from b dot, right? So minimum of valid from, and we'll be getting our data. So for this we get that. For work ID 1, owner ID 1, so this is the last person, and we got the valid form basically. So if you see, this is something that we expect to do. I mean, expect the code to give the output, right? So for 2 we get 6, right? For 2 we get 6, and 3 we get this 6. We don't need the diff column, so you can remove the diff column basically and see how it comes, because I'm just removing this and we can get the data, right? So this is something that I have come up with, right? I have explained each and every step, how it should be behaving. So I can give the data to the description box. You can try it from your end and post your solution in the comment section, and let me know what your query does and how you write the query. Till then, thank you. Bye.